The sign of Aquarius speaks primarily of God's judgment and the actual destruction of the first or the second earth, while at the same time echoing the story of redemption and the preservation of a chosen seed. Within the ancient myths, we often find the story of this great deluge of Noah being somehow and for some reason coupled with the original creation of the earth. These stories are then joined with the teachings of a great war that had been fought between Tiamat and Marduk. It is commonly believed that the earth was destroyed twice by water. Many believe that the Bible teaches of the existence of a preadamic earth. Although originally created perfect and ruled by Lucifer himself, that earth had been eventually destroyed, being initiated by, or at least as a direct result of, the rebellion and sin of that great cherub, who is called by the name of Lucifer. That great rebellion resulted in a great war beginning in heaven and chronologically taking place sometime during the period covered between Genesis 1:1 and 1:2. Let's look at those or examine those scriptures and see what we're talking about. Genesis 1:1 says, "In the beginning God created the heaven and the earth." Genesis 1:2 says, "And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. The Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters." So in between those two scriptures chronologically, this period of war ensued. What is commonly spoken of as a six-day creation account of the earth, as recorded in Genesis chapter 1, verses 3 through 31, is more precisely to be understood as a period of time in which the earth had been restored to its original condition, some time after its initial destruction. Now, how long it remained that way, we have no way of knowing. But sometime after its initial destruction, God himself began to restore the earth as it had once existed long before it had become formless and void, which we see in verse 2. We know from Peter's testimony that the original earth had somehow been overflowed with water. All life that once lived upon the earth had been destroyed at that time with this great overflowing. In 2 Peter chapter 3, verses 5 through 7, for instance, we read, "For this they are willingly ignorant, that by the word of God the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water, whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished. But the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and a perdition of ungodly men." So we easily can compare that with the timing of Genesis 1:1. In the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. The earth itself, together with all the life that lived upon it, is said to have perished. This fact is scripturally and contextually without dispute. For the earth to have perished, as Peter himself alludes to, it implies that all life as we know it must have ceased to exist. Now, unfortunately, we are not told very much about the original creation, that is, the first earth, or what is more commonly referred to as the preadamic earth. We are, however, most definitely informed by the scriptures that such an original earth did at one time exist, sometime in the dateless past. Now, as to the first creation, God does not really elaborate a whole lot about it. We should carefully note that the translation heaven in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1 should have been translated in plural as heavens. For all heavens are created at the same time, and not only the heavens singular surrounding our earth, or what we might refer to as our solar system. Although the heavens, plural, are not even mentioned in this English translation, Peter has instructed us that the Word of God also created them. Peter also teaches that just as the original earth had been perished by being destroyed with a judgment of water, this present earth, as well as the heavens, plural, above, is now being reserved to be destroyed by a judgment of fire. And according to Peter's instruction, everything on earth, as well as all that exists within the heavens, will most certainly be dissolved by fire. And we can see that in 2 Peter chapter 3, verses 10 through 13. For it says, "But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also, the works that are therein, shall be burned up." So seeing then that all these things shall be dissolved, what manner of persons ought ye to be in all holy conversation and godliness, looking for and hastening unto the coming of the day of God, wherein the heavens being on fire shall be dissolved, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. Nevertheless, we, according to his promise, look for new heavens and a new earth, wherein dwelleth righteousness. Now, after all has been dissolved, God must obviously recreate it again. The belief in a preadamic earth, although it may sound somewhat foreign among most who might call themselves Christian, is certainly not a new thought. As with many doctrinal teachings and truths within the Scriptures, the churches throughout the world generally do not expound upon or include these teachings within their normal curriculum. The main emphasis throughout the Christian church is generally limited to what is considered to be absolutely necessary for salvation, whatever that particular denomination might define those necessary doctrines and teachings to be. Now, beyond the basics and absolutely necessary or needful, it appears that all other efforts of the church seem to focus upon keeping the local church alive, or to the continual efforts of holding the particular denomination or local group together. Truth and understanding of the Scriptures are unfortunately not usually the main emphasis of the Christian church. A sad indictment upon the church, perhaps, but nevertheless found to be true more often than not. We generally will find the emphasis to be upon such doctrines as tithing, stewardship, church fellowship, and anything else that might obviously promote the continual growth and enrichment of that particular group or denomination. Usually, the programs and teachings are aimed at increasing the self, that self being defined as meaning that particular group or organization. Topics such as preadamic earth, the origin of demons, the spirit world, spiritual warfare, biblical prophecy, the second coming of Christ are generally not even approached by many of the mainline denominations. We can be certain, however, that when it comes to an understanding of the preadamic earth, the ancient fathers were not so ignorant as are those who occupy the head seats in the church today. Within the ancient Vedic myths, the great flood of Manu, who was the counterpart Noah, was understood to be nothing different than a repeat of the cataclysmic cycle representing Earth's continual destruction and recreation. And according to Eastern religious thought, it was commonly taught that after each such destruction of the earth, Vishnu would again assume his sleeping posture. Following this, Brahma would next arise from out of the lotus flower that grew up from Vishnu's navel. For those unfamiliar with these teachings, the lotus flower is a common symbol representing creation. In Egypt, for instance, the lotus flower suddenly emerges from the two halves of the waters. As the leaves begin to open at the very presence of light, the scarab beetle is discovered within the lotus flower. The beetle begins to undergo a strange kind of metamorphosis and finally becomes a human child. The boy who finally emerges from out of the transformation is said to be none other than Ra himself. Ra then begins to weep, and it is from out of his tears that the entire human race comes forth. Now, this universal creation cycle also appears to be supported by the Scriptures. The earth is said to be abiding forever, and yet we know that it has been twice destroyed in the past and will yet be destroyed in the future. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 4 can read, "One generation passes away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever." How is it said that the earth remains forever, while it is repeatedly destroyed over and over? The Bible plainly teaches that this present earth must be dissolved, and afterwards a new earth must be created. We must conclude that the Scriptures cannot possibly mean that this earth is never to be destroyed. this planet Earth will continue to exist even after it is dissolved, because it is God who shall again recreate it. The Scriptures clearly declare that all things have existed before at some other moment in time within the distant past, perhaps upon a previous Earth or even in a previous age. Notice the writing here from Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verses 9 through 10. The thing that has been, it is that which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done. There is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything whereof it might be said, see, this is new? It has been already of old time, which was before us. There is nothing new under the sun, nor is there anything that might somehow take our God by surprise. Considering this to be true, it becomes utter foolishness for a man to even attempt to try to chronologically or numerically age the earth, or to guess its origin merely by looking at fossil records. Who is the man who might say for certainty exactly how many Earths there might have been? One might ask then, if there have been previous Earths or previous civilizations living upon the earth before Adam, why then are the Scriptures so silent concerning these things? This, of course, becomes a foolish question when one understands that it is simply a choice that God in all his wisdom has chosen as a method to forget the past. We see that clearly in Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 11, where it says, there is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. He preserves just enough information about the previous worlds that we might know of their existence. We see in Isaiah chapter 65, verse 17, for behold, I create new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come into mind. We find a good example of this within the Bible itself as we begin to consider the historical account of man's existence from Adam to Noah. What happened over those 1,000 years of time? Nobody knows, simply because nobody truly remembers, primarily because it is not absolutely necessary that we know any more information than God has already given to us. Why have some of the lost books of the biblical history been lost? This is a question expressed from lips of a fool. Evidently, God, being God in all his wisdom, did not think we had a requirement for this knowledge of the past. And who is that one who might boldly accuse God for not giving man more revelation? The facts are obvious to all that man, for the most part, doesn't even cherish that revelation which has already been preserved for him, even at the cost of other men's lives.